Good morning and welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am just one of your humble and slightly caffeinated hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mock.
and welcome to the half hour. I'm going to make sure I get all these right. Half hour radio program, thanks to a wonderful partnership where I believe most people are familiar with us. A wonderful partnership with 104.5 The Flame that airs every Sunday at 10 a.m. And if you're listening to the radio program, you're like, duh, Sean, we're listening to it right now. But I say that because we also turn this radio program into a video program that is available on our YouTube page and our website. If you're on YouTube, just look up Children's Services Council St. Lucie County. You'll see Community Connections. And if you're really a big fan, you can always go to WLX TV and see the shows from 10 years ago where we looked a lot younger and still not any better. And if you want to stay up to date, and if you're like, Sean, this information is so important to us, to me and my family, I want to make sure that I get the most recent episode as soon as it comes out. Then you can subscribe to this show via your podcast app because we're all that and a bag of chips. We also have this show is also a podcast. You can go on Apple, begrudgingly go to Apple Podcast, subscribe to it, Google, Spotify, all the major platforms. Just look up Community Connections Children's Services Council and you'll subscribe and be in the go. And why do you want to be in the go? Because this show, we talk about resources and things that are available for children and families. And on occasion, we have a superstar that joins us on the show, a little foreshadowing.
Like today.
And you may think, well, why, Sean, do you get superstars and or talk about resources in the community? And it's because at the Children's Services Council, where we try to be radio and or media professionals with a little bit of help. But what we do is 5 things for our community. And those 5 things are making programs available and developing systems of care for all families in 5 priorities. And those priorities are 1, making sure every baby's a healthy baby. 2, stopping child abuse before it happens. 3, keeping kids off the streets and trying to turn them towards you. 4, keeping kids in school. And 5, keeping kids off drugs, alcohol, and other risk behaviors. And as I mentioned, we do that by offering programs and resources for all families in our community.
That's right. And while this show is a great way to learn about those priority areas and all of those programs, you can also get information about them on our website at cscslc.org. We have a list of all of our funded program partners there, along with contact information. So if there is something that you are looking for your family or to share with a friend or a coworker or a congregation member, you can find all of that information there along with a phone number to call. However, we were just talking about this before the show started. I feel like for the last couple of months, we've mentioned 211 quite a bit. And we do talk about 211 a lot. We partner with them to make services available through their helpline and through their Help Me Grow program and through the newest special needs advocate that we are working with them to bring to the community. But 211 is also a great place to call if you are looking for resources for your family. And outside of the scope of what our programs do that kind of focus in those 5 priority areas that Sean mentioned, 211 really covers all the way from birth to 99, if you will. So they have programs tailored for new moms. They have programs tailored for babies. They have programs tailored for seniors and veterans and special needs families. So there's really kind of no one that gets missed by calling 211. And it really is as easy as picking up the phone and dialing 211 and just telling them what you're concerned with, what you're looking for.
Well, I was gonna say,
there's more.
Yeah, there's more, and you just spoke of our most recent partnership with them is the having a special needs advocate for families available in our community, particularly for St. Lucie County residents. And it's not just a phone number, call 211. Oh, here's who you should call. The advocate will come and meet with them personally and help navigate everything that they need navigation on. So we're very excited about enhancing our partnership. And then, the Sunshine
your favorite
program where they call seniors every day is just to make sure they're okay. But Again, 2-on-1's a great resource, and I will always say, or we will always say that above and beyond information and referral, like, hey, I need help with this. If you're ever in a crisis, you just need somebody to talk to, even if it's at 3 a.m. and your normal network's asleep or not available, or if you feel like you have nobody to talk to, there's always somebody to talk to at 2-on-1. It's manned 24 hours with a human for you to talk to, particularly in times of crisis. And if you're like Sean, when I go through my crisis, I prefer not to talk to anybody, but I will text somebody. You can text 898-211 and then just put in the body of the message on your first text, your zip code. They'll connect you with a local person, and you can have all these resources available through text as well.
Yeah. And really, I think, we would love for you to call our office. We would love for you to directly call some of our funded programs, but we know that sometimes that's a challenge. But 211 really can kind of give you a great referral process for all of that. And then specifically to your point, the special needs advocate is actually a little bit more than that. So it's not just hey, call these people. It's a helping hand, someone who's been there. She's a special needs mom herself. So she really can walk the walk with you as you look for some resources.
And before we get to our guest, our superstar, we pulled up the limo, we signed the rider, and she's
Totally
going to
red
arrive in our
carpet.
Zoom studio here in a minute. But I will encourage everybody to check out our website, again, cscslc.org. We very much on this show shortcut what we do. We mentioned the 5 priorities and funding programs.
Like 30 minutes.
Yeah, but we do way more than that. We sponsor events, St. Lucie Reads, More Than a Game. There's so much more that we do above and beyond just funding programs, and kind of a good intro to that is our website. So we'd encourage everybody to check it out. I'm going to let our special guest in because we normally talk a little bit longer, but we're so excited to have them in. We're like, let's cut our little opening short. People can just figure out who we are by context clues, because we wanted to get to these 2 superstars as quickly as possible.
Yes. We have 2 superstars with us today. So we're really excited. Sean said we're really happy. We do a lot more at the Children's Services Council than just fund programs. And one of the really cool things that we get to do is meet really awesome kids in our community. And so today we've got a really awesome kid from our community to talk to. And it's funny. I'm going to hold on. I have to tell this backstory for a second. So if you're watching the show, you can see Mia, who's our superstar today. But when I was trying to schedule Mia to come onto the show, I was like, I don't know how to get a hold of her. Like, she's so important now.
We couldn't get a hold of your agent.
Who keeps her schedule? What do I do about this? So I literally sent a text to someone that said, who is Mia's handler? All important people have a gatekeeper, right? They have a handler. So Cynthia is here today as Mia's gatekeeper. So thank you for allowing us access to said superstar, Cynthia.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
And I know we're going to lead with Cynthia and then get to Mia, who is our superstar. But I will tell you, Cynthia, when you spoke at Youth of the Year at the main event, and then a couple times after, I remember I leaned over to Will. I'm like, who is that person on your team? She's amazing. And his response was, you can't have her. I was like, we'll see. No, I'm just kidding. But you are also a superstar that we quickly discovered through this process as well.
Yeah. So Cynthia, I will give some secrets away, I guess. You work for Boys and Girls Club here in St. Lucie County. And one of the really cool programs that you kind of have under your wing is the Youth of the Year competition. So I want to kind of give everybody a backdrop of what that looks like, because it's a lot bigger, I think, than maybe even some of the people involved in our community really understand. So can you kind of talk about Youth of the Year and how it fits into the Boys and Girls Club programming ideals?
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia Sanchez. I am the Director of Teen Initiatives. So cool role. I get to take over all teen programming, especially Youth of the Year. So like I always begin to tell people, Youth of the Year is a beast. It's definitely not easy. However, it's very doable. So Youth of the Year is a year-round program. Our teens are constantly preparing themselves to enter this competition. It's a scholarship-based program. So that alone is very beneficial to our teens, especially our seniors, because it sets a path to their college and gets them ahead of the game, if I can say. It's the highest honor any team member can get at Boys and Girls Club. So Mia is our shining star. She's our baby. So go Mia. Youth of the Year starts way back in October. That's when we host our club level competition. So it's like a mini competition at their club. They take real pride in that because, again, they're representing their club. So to enter the competition, teen members have to write 3 essays, a 3-minute speech, a resume, a cover letter, get 3 letters of recommendations from their community, specifically 1 education, 1 in their community, and 1 from their club. And then they have to undergo an interview process. So all that takes place at a club level, also at a county level, state, regional, nationals. So again, it's very, hard, but again, they have a tremendous amount of, support and just community partners that are willing to give them all the tools necessary to be successful within Youth of the Year. So from the time that they're chosen as a candidate to represent their club at the club level to the time they compete at a county level, they're constantly, being prepared. They're practicing their speech. They're practicing interview questions. They're meeting weekly with their coaches and mentors to keep that consistency going. During this time, they also have, speaking engagements within the community. It could be a local business. It could be at an event. And they're just practicing networking, getting them real comfortable. So when they go to county level, they're like, bam, I'm Miss President, I'm Mr. President, I'm here, I'm going to show out. They learn Dress for Success. And that process just continues on for regionals, nationals. Once you're chosen for nationals, you get a full ride scholarship to local universities that, of your choice. So it's a real big deal. Again, it's very beneficial. Mia, like I said, she brought so much joy to Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, just having that title as a state Youth of the Year. It felt like every year we got a little bit closer and then a little bit closer. And then we finally made it to State Youth of the Year. So again, congratulations, Mia. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. We're all super proud of you. I have to say, Cynthia, like some of the things that you were talking about, getting the letters of recommendation, going through an interview process, like that's intimidating for me as an adult. And so I can't imagine what it's like for some of these kids who have absolutely no experience with that kind of thing. So, I mean, really, how well life prepared are they now, right? That they've gone through a process like that. It's really crazy to me that they can have the capacity to do that at 15, 16, 17 years old.
No, I completely agree. I'm still blown away at the amount of growth that they make within the Youth of the Year process alone, on top of every other program that we have. It's truly very inspirational and very, eye-opening that they can get all this information and run with it and be successful. So yeah, I completely agree.
You described the process. In my head, I was thinking it's probably easier to get into the FBI or the CIA and everything that you've gone through to prepare Mia to be not only our county's Youth of the Year, but now our state Youth of the Year, which is amazing.
Yes, it is.
So Mia, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience at the Boys and Girls Club? And at some point we're going to ask you to do the 3-minute speech, right? And then we can talk about what your next steps are, because you won the state, but you're not stopping there, right?
No.
So how long have you been going to the Boys and Girls Club?
I've
And
been
which
going to
clubhouse site do you go to?
I've been going to Boys and Girls Clubs for 6 years. I started at Garden Terrace and then I transitioned to Percy Peak and now I'm at West Side.
Nice.
That's awesome. I have to ask, I feel like I ask every kid this that comes on the show, what's your favorite part about being there, about being involved in Boys and Girls Club? What do you like the most?
And pretend like Cynthia's not here. Just be honest with us.
I'll hide in the corner, no worries.
I have to say my favorite part is my friends because I get exposed to so many different people and they're so diverse, but we also learn from each other. We benefit from each other's talents, our skills, and majority of us actually like going out into the community and doing things for others. And that servitude, I just love that bond with my friends. And the Boys and Girls Clubs actually gives us a place and a foundation to actually serve our community. So just to have all of that rounded together is just really fun for me.
That's
And
awesome.
and this is what blows me away, because we were talking a little bit before we hit record on the radio program. You're going to graduate this year with your associates, or I think, right? Or close to it.
Yes.
And you're only a junior, right?
Yes.
That blows me away. So, okay. So at Boys and Girls Club for 6 years. So, Cynthia talked about the Youth of the Year process. It's a year-round process, which I don't think most people recognize until they sit in it and hear Cynthia say that. They think, oh, we just picked these, clubhouse representatives and they went to the competition, but it's a year-round program. So what was it in your head that clicked to say, you know what, I can win this, or I should go for this?
Well, I actually started the Youth of the Year process my freshman year. I was actually following in my brother's footsteps because he was a junior Youth of the Year and then a Youth of the Year, and I was his junior Youth of the Year. So the year after my freshman year, I went to do Youth of the Year for my club. And it was a great experience. And since my passion and my platform is about mental health, back then I wasn't at the place where I am today. So that impacted me. And I didn't win county for 2019 or 2020, the year that I did it. But I learned so much from that experience. And I actually want to do it again. And I wanted to aim for national and everything that came with it, especially scholarships.
That part's helpful, right?
After that, COVID hit. So I decided I don't want to do it virtually. I wanted to wait until, more COVID is diluted. So I decided to run for it this year instead of senior year. Even though COVID isn't completely eradicated, I still went and I've matured a lot, and with my mentors at the club, with Cynthia over there. So I've become really mature, and mentally I've become so positive. And this journey that I've been on has been amazing, especially with the Boys and Girls Club mentors and friends that I have. So I've just been constantly praying, constantly practicing, like Lucie said, the constant meetings every week. And I feel like I have the ability to win nationals. And so far I've gotten up to state.
Yes, ma'am. And she is back to back with those meetings. So we cannot
I am aware.
Wow. So how did it feel? You won the county, where you're like, of course I'm going to win county because my eye is on national, or were you super excited when you won the countywide competition?
A little bit of both. Before, I was so fixated on the tiniest details because, a tiny grain of salt, a tiny piece of rice. So I was focused on perfecting my paperwork, like my cover letter, my resume, because I'm in a whole bunch of extracurriculars. So I just wanted to package that, make them see all the stuff I'm involved in. But at the same time, perfect my interview skills, say what I needed to say, and make sure my speech was really beautiful and powerful. So when I won, it wasn't so much as I was surprised. I was like, you know what? I earned it. I worked hard for it.
That hard work.
And yeah.
So
I have a purpose and I'm going to do it.
So you win the county and you're like, hey, my hard work paid off, right? So now you're at the state level competition, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Cynthia, has St. Lucie County ever won the statewide competition?
Nope.
And I hear the stories. There's a powerhouse, kind of like if I'll use a basketball analogy, the Duke Blue Devils of Youth of the Year, who kind of always seem to win it or come close to win it every time. And so you knew you had some stiffer competition, or you had some stiff competition at the statewide level, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So you do the state. Were you confident that you were going to win state, or were you just like, again, paying attention to the details and just figured if I pay attention to the details, the rest will, work itself out?
This time I didn't focus on the details because for state, there's an electronic server that you have to submit everything in. And whatever you submit has to be used for state, regional, and national. So after we submitted it, I just stopped worrying about it. All I cared about was my speech in the interview. And I just constantly thought about exactly what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, because I like to practice things. But when I actually went on there, the first round for state, I was very confident and I won the first round. And I knew I was going to the finals and I felt so great about it. But it was different than what I already practiced. So it was, not the same questions, but the speech was great. But when it came to the second round, they didn't ask me the same questions that, I've been practicing at all. So they just asked their own type of questions, but, I just answered it and it was great. I was just worried about it afterwards because the fact that I didn't practice exactly for those questions, I was kind of panicking a little bit, but at the same time I did great and it turns out I won. And as for the competition, the same competition that we've always had was the same competition that I was worrying about. Not too much, but I always kept the person in the back of my mind, but I just tried my best and I prayed that my best would be good enough to win. And it did happen.
And clearly it was. But, and for our listeners, you may think, well, why are you asking about the process? That what you just described is a winner's mentality. The prepping, those that win don't win because they just showed up. You did all that detailed work. You did all that visualization, all that practice. And when it came time for that competition, because you had done all that, you had a comfort level, you had a confidence level. And that's what makes champions champions.
I attended a sports banquet for my daughter recently for her middle school sports that she participated in. And one of the coaches got up and said, hard work beats talent every day. That's what you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear that you've put in a lot of hard work. So so we kind of talked about the competition and you have regionals coming up. When are the regionals?
The regionals is June 14th to 16th, but the actual competition is on the 15th.
Okay. And where does that take place at?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So are you already...
to go see London? Do you get to go see London? Our friend? I hope
We
so.
We might.
Do you need a chaperone?
Yes, you can hop on the wave.
So I know, Mia, you're already visualizing, you're already practicing. It's just built into who you are, and you know what it takes to win. But we kind of talk about the competition, but you also delivered a very, very powerful message, a message that Ashley and I've heard before, and we've actually. And I don't want to give anything away, but the topic of this is we've heard before from a Youth of the Year a few years ago, and it's the reason why we acted upon it among our after-school programs. We heard that message loud and clear. But are you comfortable? We have about 6 minutes left in the show, and I want to make sure that our viewers, and I know, Mia, you probably I say this all the time. I can say this with my eyes closed, but it's so powerful. Are you comfortable kind of giving your speech?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share my story of overcoming obstacles to bring change starting today, day one. The actions we take today aims for the change to be seen someday. Everyone experiences obstacles in life. The fiercest one is the battle of our minds, the struggle of mental health. Writer Andrea Balt once said, to turn your demons into art, your shadow into a friend, and your fear into fuel. Mental health is a crucial issue in America. Anyone can be affected by it, and everyone can make a change. Growing up, My father's abuse was a part of my daily life. For years, I struggled with PTSD, nightmares, and depression. I never thought that I could speak up about my experiences because in society, people with mental illnesses are so stigmatized. When I finally escaped the abuse and moved to Fort Pierce, I actually believed that my life would be better. Still, his abuse came back to haunt me. Mentally, I fell into a dark place and gave up on hope. When I joined the Boys and Girls Clubs, I finally started to trust others. Soon after, my struggles came to light, and the staff made it their duty to help me. 3 people in particular, Mr. Austin, Miss Rashida, and Miss Cynthia, protected me from the abuse. They helped me uncover the truth of mental health and taught me how to have a healthy mindset. They gave me countless opportunities and showed me how to use my experiences to help others. They helped me see my purpose, to make a change in my community. I had a vision that one day we would all live in a world that's aware of mental health. By joining organizations focused on helping others, I became a leader in my community and an advocate for my people. I have blossomed into a young woman full of self-value. Mental health touches everyone of all ages, sizes, and cultures. The mentors I had at Boys and Girls Clubs helped me find my light, so I'm going to help others find theirs. Together as a community, we can bring a change for mental health. How can we achieve this change? I believe that if we execute and highlight resources in schools as early as elementary, we will make a great impact for mental health, and more youth will not suffer as I did. This is my hope for today, tomorrow, and forever. Learning from the past, I want to look to the future and bring change starting today, day one. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mia.
So try not to cry during your speech. I will say, first of all, that is very powerful, and you have a very powerful story. But it's also, Ashley, when you were speaking, in our world, and particularly when we interact with our programs, we talk a lot about outcomes and data and all that stuff. And behind all that are stories and relationships that kids are having with the professionals at these programs. And you just highlighted the importance of programs like the Boys and Girls Club, the reason why kids need adults that they can talk to, and the power of relationships, all in your story. And it's just heartwarming to hear your story, to hear what you've been through, and to come out even stronger, and to continue and want to be that agent of change in our community. It's just it's just overwhelmingly positive. I'm just so happy that we're doing this show right now. So Mia, so we got like 2 minutes left, and I'm extending that because we're just having such a good time. Sorry, Alice Lee at the Flame. When you talk about mental health and what you want to see, can you articulate that a little bit more? Like, what do you want to see? Like, what would you think, what would be something powerful at the Boys and Girls Club that this community could put into place to help kids that are in a similar circumstance?
So mental health, as you know, it impacts everyone. So first, I talked about the stigma of mental health. People think it's so taboo. Like if you mention mental illness, they label words like crazy, or they just think it's something to be ignored. But we need more open conversations as a community, and it needs to be normalized to the point where you call each other out on your behavior, you call each other out, and if you notice mental illnesses, or if you want to help each other about your mental wellness. And we need more options for therapy. And there are options available, but we don't know about them. And Boys and Girls Clubs has a resource, Tags and Teens. We should get them to come speak to Boys and Girls Club to offer their services here to get everyone aware of it. We need to get mental illness awareness in schools. It needs to be talked about in the morning announcements. We need guidance counselors, school therapists. Some schools have school therapists, which I didn't actually know was a thing until someone actually told me about it from their school. So we should have that everywhere. Even if we could have local government implement their budget and have therapists in schools, because it's important. School is stressful. Dual enrollment is stressful. IB is stressful. Our home lives are stressful. We need someone to talk to. We need somewhere to vent, somewhere that we can grow as individuals and be okay.
I like, the Tykes and Teens thing. I'm just going to take a moment to brag here. The Tykes and Teens thing that we, Children's Services Council, implemented and funded came as a result of a Youth of the Year describing mental health as an issue in after school programs. But the other thing, and I'm just, when you're saying that, my wife is a teacher, and one of the things that she does in her classroom, and I'm sure you guys probably do at the Boys and Girls Club, is every student goes around on a scale of 1 to 4, 1 being they're great and 4 being not great, or it might be reverse. Forgive me if I missed that detail. They go around and tell their classmates what number they are. And if somebody scores low, they have a conversation about it, because it's exactly what you said, Mia. Like, nobody needs Sean to come walk in and be like, all right, teenagers, we're going to talk about mental health. It's got to come from the kids, and it's got to get in the youth. I mean, and it's got to get normalized. And I firmly believe that it's your generation and you and everybody that's coming after you. Mental health will be normalized by the time you're an adult. There'll be a comfort level. The stigmas with the older people like Ashley and I lumped you into that. Sorry, Ashley. As you get older and you continue to talk about it, it will become more normalized. And I know it's something that we've focused on or been talking about a lot as well, is, if you break an arm, you go to the doctor, right? But if you're feeling down and depressed and having dark thoughts, what do? We hide it. We don't share it because we think it's a stigma and it's bad, but we got to change all of that.
Yeah. I totally agree with Sean. I think, and I've said this to him before, I've said this in community meetings before, your generation is going to make change. It's going to happen. It's already happening. And I think obviously you being the Youth of the Year was not without reason. And I'm excited to see what you're going to be able to do. So congratulations 1,000 times.
So Mia, we're like 5 minutes over our time, and I'll do some editing where, I'll take out some of my rambling so that we don't get the radio station too upset with us. But we want to, on behalf of everybody at the Children's Services Council, Ashley, myself, the entire team, the entire board, you winning the state championship or the state award is a big, I can't curse, a big freaking deal. Right? Like, it is huge, and it needs to be celebrated. It needs to be shouted from the mountaintops. And we're fortunate and we're very grateful that you came on to our radio program so we could be part of that, that shouting from the top of the mountain saying, look what our community has done. Look at the impact of after school programs. Look at this young woman who's doing amazing things now and is going to do amazing things in the future. We just hope that you come back or stay within St. Lucie County so we can capture some of your magic and make that change happen that you vision. So again, Mia, thank you so very much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And best of luck. And Cynthia, you're a superstar in your own right as well. I already told you what I told Will. I'm like, who is that person? And his response was, you can't have her. I'm like, I didn't tell Will this. I'm like, we'll wait, see, let's see. But you are a superstar, and we're very grateful that you are working with all the teens at the Boys and Girls Club as well.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys so much for this opportunity.
All right, folks, we're out of time. We apologize. We're enjoying ourselves so much. We turned the half-hour show into a 45-minute show. I want to remind everybody that it's a weekly radio program every Sunday on 104.5 The Flame at 10 a.m. You can check out the video version of the program on our YouTube page. Just look up Community Connections with Children's Services Council. And if you're like, Sean, actually, I need to be in the know all the time, then subscribe to the radio show via the podcast. Just look up Community Connections St. Lucie on your favorite podcast app, and it'll be delivered to you weekly via magic and the internet. Thank you for tuning in, and remember that it's our children, our community, our future. Now more than ever, folks, we're all in this together. And a big shout out to Mia as she goes on to regionals.
Yay.
In a world where seconds can be the difference between life and death, I realize I was born for this. I am prepared. I am present. I am
Dad!
the Water Watcher.